So welcome all of you students for the second session of the collection of data. That is, we are going to discuss the secondary sources today. Now, the secondary sources we are having the following sources. First of all, we are having the government publication. They are the most reliable source of secondary data. Since we know that the government, whatever the data they are going to publish, it means they are going to have a higher sort of reliability, since we can just rely on the government officials that whatever the data they are providing or whatever the source of information they are providing will be a good amount of accuracy. Now, if we talk about some government publication, we can have RBI Bulletin, Annual Survey of Industry. They can give the most reliable form of data by which we can draw, or by which the professionals can draw meaningful conclusion with respect to, say, banking. If RBI Bulletin used to give the information with respect to how many banks are there in India, how many private banks, how many public sector banks, how many foreign banks, what is the state of conditions of banking era and respective finances, or we can say what is the sort of money supply that is prevailing in an economy, and so on. So what is the segment of industries? Small scale industries, large scale industries, middle size industries. What are, how many there are industrial areas that have been spread out will be the things provided by Annual Survey of Industries. So we can say the government sources are the very first sources of secondary data. Secondly, semi-government publication is whatever the municipal corporation that are providing the death certificate, birth certificates, Aadhaar card making, as well as it means whatever the source they are providing due to this information by which we are getting these certificates to be obtained, as well as the mortality rate we can obtain, the birth rate we can obtain, the housing facilities, the number of houses that are available in Jaipur or in a particular locality. All such information we can obtain from such semi-government publication data is the municipal corporation that we known as JDE, Jaipur Development Authority, or Rajasthan Housing Board authorities. So these are authorities that can also provide the reliable information we can receive from them. Fine. So third is reports of commissions. Report of commission is election commission that used to tell us how many election parties are contesting for a particular elections. Whenever there is a national level elections or state level elections, we just need to see the name of party, name of the contestant who are going to stand for from a particular state, or particular region, locality, city, town. Planning commission, right? Basically, it is now known as Niti Aayog, that are basically considered about the framing of 5-year plans and all the economic development and growth measures to be taken in India, right? So again, if they provide some sort of secondary information or the published data, we can say they will be of highly reliability and accuracy, right? Again, we can say they will be helpful in drawing the meaningful conclusion. Then we can have the publications of trade association. For example, textile association, sugar mill association, if they are providing the basically measurement or data with respect to entire sugar industries or entire textile industry, so we can say they will be a really sort of help for us. For example, when the GST was applied, the very first industry that had seen the steep fall and decline in the production level was textile industry, and the Textile Mill Association have taken this very seriously and just reported the government that the entire amount of textile production had been just fallen by 50% when the GST was implemented. So we can say the publication of trade association again is a very great consideration that we need to understand, and again it's a great source of secondary source of data. Journal and newspaper, whatever the newspaper they are having, for example, Times of India, Economic Times, the Hindustan Times, or the journals from ICAI, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and more professional bodies, we can say they are really a very significant source of secondary data, by which we used to get the data ready-handed with very great amount of expertise. Now, again, we can prove to be a high amount of accuracy, originality, and we can say we can derive a good source of reliability also. Then information to e-sources website. Today, a vast amount of data, universe amount of data has been provided in over internet. Or we can say if we search anything to everything in Google, the Google is going to provide with just a name that is going to basically serve you every amount of knowledge, a bundle with every amount of knowledge that you must be requiring. But we just need to take care of its reliability and accuracy, since there are much more things that we need to see and observe and undertake, that every information that is appearing over the internet may not be true to an average. Then international publications say WHO, World Health Organization, IMF, International Monetary Fund, WB, World Bank are used to provide the most concrete, reliable and authentic information that is used to be implemented and used to see the weather in respect of any countries, regions, in all parts of the world, right? So that you must be able to draft suitable measures, policy, regulation in respect of their country. For instance, in respect to WHO is a very big concern and very considerate about the present scenario of coronavirus, of the pandemic that is being going on in all parts of the world. It means they just need to see how many people are being suffered, since it needs to observe the United States that is having the highest number of patients of coronavirus and the maximum amount of death thereon. We can say that WHO will be very keen to provide the health measures, health facilities, and would like to serve each and every part so that the pandemic can be overcome at a very sooner span of time. So these are international publications. Whatever the data they are being provided will be of utmost or very authentic view, more reliable, more accurate, more original, you can say. Then publication for research institutes like NCER, ISI, NSSO. NCER means National Council for Applied Economic Research. ISI, Indian Statistical Institute, and NSSO means National Sample Survey Organization. See, these are the organizations, basically these are just used to undertake the research process. They undergo for research of each and every measure that is being implemented in India. For example, if you talk about NSSO, National Sample Survey, it means they used to take the measure in respect of employment and unemployment. It is in respect to livestock and health measure, in respect of infrastructure, in respect of medical health, in respect of hospitality. Whatever the thing that is carried out in numbers, there NSSO used to be going to provide the most appropriate measure of statistical data. Indian Statistical Institute, or we say NCER, they are also very keen measure of good government bodies, government research institute that are going to provide you a very appropriate amount of secondary data. It means these are basically the secondary source of information by which we can obtain a very reliable source, the very reliable information, because these are all known as published sources of secondary data. Now, coming to the last thing, that is from research forward. There are some professionals who are constantly working upon some companies or for some products or for some basically services, and provide a very reliable and authentic data to be served to newspaper, journals, to government organizations, right? And these professionals are basically known as scholars or research scholars. We used to compare the data between two companies, between products, between regions, between services, so that they may be able to give the more reliable, authentic and accurate information to the concerned organization, so that they can publish in their magazines, journal and publications. Fine. So these are the secondary sources where the data has already been published, already been collected and being served to the public or to the masses or to the region, or nationally also, internationally also. Okay. So coming to the methods of collection of data. Now if we say about, we have seen the sources of secondary and we have seen the sources of collection of data in the form of primary and secondary. Now we are going to see the methods of collection in the form of censor method and sample method. Censor method we used to convey it as entire ocean method. It means we need to take the entire amount of universe or population, or in simple, in which every element of the population or universe is included in order to collect the data. It means when I say entire ocean, means I need to consider about every drop of an ocean that is being included in it. Okay. So we are saying censor method is basically a method of collection of data where every element or unit of the population or universe or ocean is being included in order to collect the data responsibly. So the feature will be, area will be small, because we need to collect the data from each and every element that is included in that part of area. few informants, that's why we need to have very few informants. It takes longer period of time. Original and original. The data will be highly original and highly accurate. Now, merits, we can segregate the merits from here. Data will be original and accurate, meaningful conclusion can be drawn from that. Definitely a meaningful conclusion since the data is very personal, very original, very accurate, very authentic. So, the meaningful conclusion definitely will be derived. Now, with respect to demerits, we can say it is very expensive. Very expensive since we need to cover very short reasons. We need every time the person who is having a very good sort of knowledge, we need to pay a good sum of money to him also. Then it is time consuming, more manpower is required, difficult to cover by data. Now, coming to sample method, we can say sample method is a few drops of an ocean method. It means if I used to pick few units of few elements in order to collect the data from that element only. For example, in a class of 50 students, if I pick 5 students and ask about the information with respect to each and every candidate, don't you think I will be getting the information in respect of every child? All those 5 to 6 members I need to pick very reasonably with the help of these following sampling, right? So that I may be able to draft meaningful conclusion from there. Because to select sample is the utmost important for me. Because if sample will be wrong, I won't be able to draw meaningful conclusion. My conclusion, my data, my formulation will all be misleading and will not be pertaining to the objective of the inquiry. Fine? So, if we talk about the sample method is a method of collecting data where only few elements of the entire universe or ocean or population is being included. So, features, it is economic. Economic time saving है, wide area can be covered rationally. It means अगर हमने 5% पिक करे हैं and if all those 5 to 8 to 10 people, if they are representing the entire population, we can expect that these people can give us the information with respect to entire population living there. It means if I ask information about your area and about your people living aside your area, in your area, you can easily give me. Fine? So, I told you that it is a rational method. Large investigation. It is used for large investigation since we just need to pick few elements. It means we can conduct the investigation on a large basis. Convenience. It means it is highly convenient to pick the few samples and then we can conduct a study. Then easy and early error identification. The early error can be detection. It means if the sample 1 or 2 can be go wrong, we can just replace it from other samples as and when we can have. Right? In respect to demerits, all these features can be termed as the merits of the sample. That's really convenient. Now, demerit, if we talk about, it means will be biased. Yes. If sample will be biased, result will be biased, conclusion will be biased, or partial we can say. It will be misleading, difficult to obtain sample. As I told you that it is very difficult to obtain sample. We cannot know that this sample is good or this sample is good. We just need to go for trial and error basis. Then, specialized skills knowledge is required. Which means there must be a good sort of knowledge by selecting a good amount of sample. So, when we are talking about merits and demerits and features, we just need to undertake putting in the sampling. Sampling is basically the process of selecting the sample. It means if we need to obtain the sample, if we need to obtain few drops from an entire ocean, we just need to know how we can collect. And for this, we have established these 6 sampling methods. First sampling is random sampling. Random sampling basically selecting the sample from the entire region as per our own ease. How? It means here we can say in random sampling every unit has an equal chance of being selection. It means if I am talking about these dots, that are existing in this circle. If I am going to select the dots randomly, I can just pick the dot whosoever I want randomly. I am not picking up haphazardly, means that 5% can come and they will be sampled. No. If I am coming into the class and I am seeing that if there is a class of 50 students, I need 5 to 10%. I can say, I can pick by my vision, by my observation, by my supervision. Or if I know the class very well, I can randomly pick any 5 candidates who I feel that they can be more appropriate. Fine. So it means we can say there is an equal chance of every element of population of being selection. It means every dot has an equal chance of being selection. That is what we say as random sampling. It is very easy to formulate, and the sample can be easily obtained since we used to treat them on equal par. It means they will be very difficult for us to judge the reliability of each sample that we are obtaining. Now, coming to purpose, if we are selecting the sample for some particular purpose, it means we need to be very particular in selecting a sample. For example, if again I come into the class and I need to pick 4 students who can represent the entire sports community of the students. It means I need to talk or I need to pick only those students who are very keen or very involved in sports. Right? It means my sampling will be restricted to my particular purpose. So, particular, or we can say purposes sampling will be a form of sampling where the samples are being selected on the basis of some particular purpose or stated objective. It means they are not going to pick up randomly, they are going to pick them purposely. Okay. Stratified, or we can say group sampling. Stratified means we just need to frame a group. Group can be of any number. There is no fixation, just like in quota. Quota is also group sampling. But if we talk about stratified, it means if the area or if the universe is very large, say if we are going to pick around 5 students from 11th and 12th, and they both the clubs are having 200 students, it is very difficult for us to pick them. What we will do, we will make a particular strata. We can make the strata of 15, 20, 25, 10, 15, or even we can make the strata or groups on the basis of their respective qualities. It means we can say those students who have got more than 50%, more than 70% can come into this group. Those students who have obtained who are very keen in sports can come into this group. Right? So we can fix the criteria of the strata to be prepared, and by this we can pick the respective sample from each of the strata. So stratified sampling basically the sampling where the sampling or sample is being obtained by forming a reasonable strata on the basis of some particular segment or qualification or criteria. Now, systematic sampling. Systematic sampling means, again, if I say this will be a method of selecting sample where we just need to follow very systematic path of selecting samples. Say, if I say I need to select the student from the sample, what I will do, I will tell them to sit according to the roll number wise. For example, if the student has sit according to the roll number wise, say like this, it means now I can select system wise. It means I will select every 5th candidate as an element of my sample. This will be a systematic sample. It means every 5th person will be selected as a sample and rest will be ignored. So, systematic sampling is a form of sampling where a sample is being selected or collected systematically on the basis of chronological order, or we can say on the basis of alphabetical order. If I have told them to sit according to the names, even then I have taken them as per my system, or basically chronological order. or a ascending order or descending order. Criteria can be anything we can establish. Quota means we just need to fix the number of the group. It means I told you that if we are fixing that we just need the 5% or we need the group of only 10%, it means the quota should be fixed to 10 only. It should not increase to 15 or 18 or 13, 14, 12. No. We just need the group of 10 only. So if there are 100 members in a group or we are the population is of 100 members and we need to pick 10 members. First of all, what we will do, we will make that group of 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. That 10, that particular strength will be known as quota. It means we have just established the quota. If we have just established, we have just fixed the strength of the group, and then from there we can select the respective elements as our samples. Convenience is an amount of, is a form of sampling where the investigator selects the sample according to his own ease or comfort or preference. It means whenever he would like to conduct the sampling, he will. It means it may be possible that it will not serve a meaningful purpose to him. Right? It means as per his level of convenience, if you would like to select the sample, he can be prejudiced or he can be biased in selecting the sample. For this we can say this is not much applicable or it should not be of high importance. It is important to only when the segment of performance relates to investigator only. Where the investigator feels that if he or she is selecting a person as a sample, they will be a good source of knowledge to him as sample. Fine. Now these are basically 6 sampling methods that we will discuss with you. With respect to random sampling that we have taken, we just need to say it can be divided into 2 forms if we talk about random sampling. One is there is one lottery method and one is there is table of random numbers. These are basically the examples that we need to consider. Right? Examples of random sampling can be lottery method. When the lottery method, while check method, we are writing the name of every concerned person who is available to us at the moment. We are just filling up the name in a check, putting into a box. By auto system, we can pick the person. Random sampling can be followed. Table of random numbers is basically making a table in the form of Tippett table. Tippett table is consisting of 41,600 rows divided into 4 columns, and there we have to pick the respective amount of samples. So basically, these are the 2 examples that can illustrate your random sampling is all about. But we say that in random sampling, every unit has a chance of equal selection. Every. There is no specific purpose, there is no particularness, there is no convenience, no systematic or quota to be followed. It means we are just going to pick samples whosoever we feel that he can be best for our sample. So, this is basically the chapter of collection data is all about. We have taken the secondary sources as well as the methods of collection of data, that is census method and sample method. We have taken the merit, features and types of sampling. So I wish and I am expecting students that this chapter will be a great source of knowledge for you all. Right? So thank you so much students for being in the class of our lecture. We will be